What up, roomies? Tonight's guest is somebody who understands exactly what it's like to sit on the other side of the microphone. He's an independent music producer, recording artist, media entrepreneur, and the founder of Nices Media, right? Uh,
Nice media. Yeah, yeah.
Nice Media?
Yeah.
Bro, if you would have never told me that, I would have been butchering this the whole time.
Yeah.
Through his podcast, Deeper Than Music and 40 something gamers, he spent years giving artists, creators, and entertainers a platform to tell their stories most people never get to hear. Tonight, we're flipping the script. Instead of him asking the questions, we're going to be asking them. Markivus, welcome to In the House, man. And it's a
Hey,
pleasure
thank
to
you,
have you
man.
on, bro.
Thank you, man. Likewise, pleasure to be on.
And it's always refreshing to have another host on. You know what I mean? And especially somebody who's like besides doing the podcasting thing, you're also an independent music artist, just like I am. I do
Yeah.
house music. I'm also a producer, and I love gaming, and I have my own gaming channel. For anybody who doesn't know, check out Second Floor Basement. But and it's always good to connect with like-minded people. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah. Besides
Likewise.
that, like, when did you let's start at the music, right? When did you like start making music, and when did like it evolve into like Deeper Than Music, the podcast?
Oh, yeah. Man, it's been. I'm gonna date myself. I got the gray hairs. I got the gray hairs right here.
Bro, my
It,
my girl cursed me with them, so I know how it is.
so it's like back in the 1990s. Actually, I grew up in a military family.
Mhm.
So I traveled the world. And I like to say my moment was in 1983. So I love aviation and music. I got my
Mhm.
Superman thing on, but so it was 1983. Seeing Michael Jackson moonwalk, that put the seed in my head, and I used to break dance and stuff like that. But it wasn't until 1990, damn, like 93, 94.
Mhm.
We were living in Fort Dix, New Jersey. Rest in peace, Falon Smith. Me and my friends had a group called Diverse, and he's the one that took us in. And we would go to his studio, and just like freestyle rap and stuff like that. And I paid attention to like what he was doing and like the back end of the music. Then we had to move when I was a junior in high school. We moved to Bay St. Louis, Mississippi.
Yeah.
In Mississippi, I did a drug-free rap, and it got the attention of one of the teachers. And then it allowed me to work at a Hancock Broadcasting Academy. And then I became a DJ or on-air personality on WBSL AM 1190 in Bay St. Louis. I was marking the afternoon. I wanted to be Marvelous Markivus Nious, but they wouldn't
Yeah.
let me do that. So again, I got to learn the back end of the music, and then see how music was like the gatekeeper. I think I got to interview like a country artist. I got to
Yeah.
cut commercials and just see how radio worked. Living in Bay St. Louis or going to college in Mississippi wasn't going to be it. So I
Yeah.
joined the Navy. Through the Navy, learned experiences. Got to be a part of an underground record label called the Bomb Entertainment. The head guy was Mario Johnson again, but he actually would like make music. So he taught me how to make music. He didn't use Pro Tools. I forget what he used, but he showed me how to like put music together.
Yeah.
After that fell apart, I transferred to San Diego. And then in San Diego, I was on the ship to Baja Richard. So this is when me and a collective of my friends, we started Secrets of Society Records. Um, we would make music as a collective. We did shows in Cabo San Lucas, San Diego. Then when that kind of fell through, when I got out the Navy, I started standalone music, and that's when I really started producing my own music. Standalone music is my vehicle to do my music, and radio was always in the back of my mind. I just didn't know how to do it. I mean, the tech podcast wasn't a thing then in the early
Yeah.
2000s. So fast forward to 2015, I was living in Dallas, and somebody introduced me to Kevin Hopwood. He had a radio show called no, he had TMI Radio. He had his own
Yeah.
online radio station. And then I always would watch Behind the Music. I always like hearing about music, talking about music. Shout out to Angie Martinez, all the other like music shows or that talk to artists and stuff like that. So I was like, you know what? I have an idea. Deeper Than Music, and I talked to Kevin Hopwood, and what I sold him on was like, hey, I want to do a show on your radio station, and I was like, I always wondered like Michael Jackson's song, what was it, Human Nature, like
Yeah.
what was he talking about? Because some of the song reminds me of like, it reminds me of Times Square, when he's like electric eyes everywhere, and I was like, and when the scene, it sounds like he's talking about Times Square. I always wondered, and he let me have the radio show on his TMI radio. And then later on, thanks to technology, we all have these podcasting platforms. And I was like,
Yeah.
you know what? Let me, instead of going downtown all the time in Dallas to go there, sometimes I couldn't make it. I can just do this at home. So I want to say around like, yeah, 2018 or
Okay.
2015, I started doing it consistently. But all that to say, that was the journey, high level right there.
No, but that's a dope journey though, because it was like it was all different phases, it was all different, experiences, and especially the fact that one, you was in a military family, and then you went to the military yourself. So you've been around mad different people, and you've
Yeah,
experienced, I would say, different viewpoints of how music is made, and like the subgenres of hip hop, and like subgenres of this music and country music and all this. So you had a great influence, like you know, you had a
yeah,
lot of things that could influence like your sound. So that's dope.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, so I mean, I'll tell you the story. This story was like a huge eye opener for me.
Yeah.
So I used to work for American Airlines. I used to travel out there, and I work for Sabre Airline Solutions. So I got
Yeah.
to work with this airline called Copa Airlines. They're based out of Panama, and they have two offices in Panama, and they have an office in Bogota. So one time I went to Bogota, and shout out to Abadil who works at for Copa Airlines. So
Yeah.
we're in this bar, man, in in Bogota, Colombia, and I love like with Latin music, I love the percussions and the sounds, and they're just playing like Latin music, and I'm like, man, I love this music, I love the percussions, and he kind of looked at me like, Mark, you don't know, and I'm like, what are you talking about? And he's like, dude, all of this, the percussions is African. So I
Yeah.
was like, whoa, mind blown. And then like something come on, he's like, yo, that's African Cubano, that's this and that. And what it made me do later on is research, like, man, let me research what he's talking about. So I want to say about 75% of during the Atlantic, the slave trade, 75% of those ships went to South America and then 25% went to America. So a lot of Latin music has that African DNA in it. And that was something that like blew my mind after, me and him had that conversation.
Yeah, yeah. A lot of even modern day Spanish music like dembow, reggaeton. You got what bachata, merengue, salsa. The big three.
Yeah.
Cumbia. You have all of them come with like their own little accent of reminiscing of like the African sound, especially with the percussions. You know what I mean? And the
Yeah,
strings
yeah.
too. Like you'll be surprised. Like the strings in bachata really come from like Africa and all that stuff.
Mm,
So it's super dope, bro. Like, and that's crazy because you had like all these. Like, I wish that I've traveled to Colombia and have all
yeah,
these experiences. Like, and it's dope because you're broadening your horizons, and that's dope for when you're making music because it's like, have you ever been, I don't know, producer to producer, have you ever been making a beat or like trying to work on a track and then they're like, yo, this needs like an extra like sauce or extra flavor, and then you don't know where it's gonna come from. And then you find like this odd thing from like somewhere unknown, and then you're like, oh, this works perfectly. And then you find out later
yeah,
on it's like some folk music from like
yeah,
Africa or like Eastern Europe, and they're like, oh, that should work.
yeah, yeah. Because like right now, man, I've been heavy into so I pivoted from doing a lot of hip hop stuff to now just doing instrumentals.
Yeah.
And lately I've been really heavy into like dark synth because I like scoring. And shout out to my mentor. One of my mentors, he transitioned from doing music to doing independent movies. So
Oh, that's
now
dope.
it's about we pay attention to scoring. So that got me leading into like Trent Reznor from Nine Inch Nails. He does music scoring now. He did like Tron and all that stuff. So now it's got me looking at like dark synth and stuff like that. Cyberpunk. And like you said, that's something totally the
Left
opposite
field,
direction
yeah.
of hip hop. Yeah.
Nah, I feel you though because I grew up. I'm Dominican, so I grew up in a Spanish household,
Yeah.
And in the 90s, early 2000, every kid wanted to be a rapper. That's how
Yep.
everybody thought they were gonna make it out the hood. So I just ended up rapping. One of my boys was a producer, and we had a little rap group and whatever, and it was so dope. And then everybody grew apart. But I had this moment when one of my best friends, shout out to my boy Alex, he took me to a rave. He took me to like EDC, a big ass rave festival.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's when I was just like, yo, bro, this is what I had to do. And that's when I got into like DJing and like really going into like production and all that shit. Like I went from like one genre where I was like, yo, hip hop, cool. And then I just went straight into like house.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's and one thing that when I pivoted, I didn't realize this with hip hop or even with writing lyrics. Like music is a universal language,
That's a
but
big fact.
instrumentals are they have no words, so they can cross over anywhere. Like you know what I mean? They don't have that language barrier.
Yeah.
And with doing the instrumentals, man, it's like man, there's like now it's like Malaysia, Asia market. Of course, I made a couple Latin inspired instrumentals, South America, and then like you said with the house stuff, Great Britain.
Yeah.
Before that was never on my radar as far as music wise, and it's real cool, man.
Now it's super dope, especially when you like. But the one thing I will say this is like once you leave like the U.S. and this is what I've seen, like especially like in DR and like Asia and Europe, is that most people are like super open minded about music and all this and mad shit. Like they'll listen to anything as long as they got like a good rhythm and a good flow.
Yeah.
Like
Yep.
for instance, for example, like in Japan, like they're big on like Spanish music, and I'm not talking about like dembow and reggaeton. I'm talking about like bachata, merengue, and salsa. You know what I mean?
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. So they've, as long as your music got flow, bro, you could go anywhere in this world, man. And that's really what it is. Like, and he was right. Like, music is a universal language, and everybody vibes to it.
Yep.
Yeah, man. So when you did the podcast, like, do you have any like favorite memorable moments? Like, any cool artists that you had come on, had
Yeah.
like them like kind of like drop a couple of gems and all that.
Yeah, so I used to have a crush on CC Peniston.
Yeah.
She did finally, finally it has happened to me.
Me,
Yeah, so I had a fanboy moment with her, and she's like, "Oh, you're cute."
and you was like, oh no.
Yeah, and then this would my fiance. So before COVID hit, shout out to Ron Russell and Jimmy Starr. I got to do a Grammy. It was like a Grammy like show in
Oh, that's
Hollywood,
dope.
and so it was like Sue Wong is like this. She's big into fashion.
Yeah.
She's Japanese, and so she had an Oscar gala. So I do the Oscar gala, and Elisa Reyes from All That, she was in All That and the Proud Family.
Yeah.
So me and her, I'd interviewed her before, and my mentor will never let me live this down. So I got to interview her there at the Oscar gala. My fiance is with me, and I guess Lisa Reyes got a little bit too close, and we took a picture. The picture's downstairs in the hallway, and my boy is like, dude, he was like, Carrie's face went from a smile to like a mean mug. So now that's my quote unquote girlfriend. So if we see her on TV, we're like, "Oh, your girlfriend." This is that. So I never get to live that down. And then I got to interview my aunts. They love like Guy, the group Guy with
Yeah.
Teddy Riley, Damien, and Aaron Hall. I got to interview Damien Hall, and
Oh,
that was amazing just to hear stories about Teddy Riley because he's one of my favorite producers, and just to hear, yeah, those are the three right there. Yeah, big
that's
highlights.
that's so dope, bro. That is so dope, especially with Teddy Riley, because I would love to pick his brain about so
Yeah,
much stuff, especially like him. Definitely Quincy Jones, and definitely like Scott Storch. I would definitely like to like
yeah,
sit down and like definitely like pick their brains about like just music creation and all that stuff. So like the craziest story I've ever had, or like I think the most famous person I ever met, which was so dope, was I met Akon with my publicist, she has her own podcast too. So shout out to
Yeah.
Ivy, and she had him and his new artist as guests. And bro,
Yeah.
like yo, Akon's a tall dude.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he
Oh
like
man.
6'3", 6'4". I looked
Oh wow.
when he
Man.
approached me, I was like, damn, motherfucker. No, but he was super cool though. Super cool. So
Yeah.
shout out to him. Yeah, man. So that's
Yeah,
like
man.
really what you were saying?
I was gonna say, and he got to work with Michael Jackson, man. That's another great man.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I would have loved to have met Michael and just like, or at least be like a fly on the wall during like some of those sessions. You know what
Oh
I mean?
yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. But other than that, like, bro, and it's crazy how like music kind of like connects you to people when you never know who's gonna be in that booth with you or in that studio with you and all that stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, man. So like when you decided to make Deeper Than Music, right? What was your like end goal to it? Or like
Um, I just like so it was kind of like a cheat for me too. Musician to musician, we get to talk, right?
yeah.
And it's like, yo, so what is your creative process? What do you do? Word, okay, I never thought about that. Uh, just connecting with like-minded people, and then just like, back in the day when we had CDs and records, I would look at
Yeah.
the back of the CDs. I would look at the CD covers. Who was the producer? Who was the vocalist? And just like, and then again, like I said, I like behind the music, the MT or
Yeah.
the VH1 show behind the music.
Yeah.
So for me, it was just to connect with artists and speak the language and let them talk more than just the surface level or beyond an album that they're promoting or beyond a single. Just like get deep in their heads and kind of like, man, what was your inspiration? What is your thought process? Like, it was just that to get deeper than music because I would always wonder, like, for example, like with Stevie Wonder, man,
Yeah.
if you listen to Stevie's music and knew nothing of that dude, he is such a musical genius, you would never know that he was blind. You know what I
True.
mean? So just to like get deep, because we're musicians. Like I have musician friends, and you know how it is. Like, damn, dude, how did you get that bass line like that? Or how did you
Yeah.
tweak that? How did you get that sound like that? Or like, what were you thinking about when you wrote that song? So it was just the nerd in me, the producer and musician
Nah.
in me,
I think that's the
basically.
I think that's the best part though when you like get into like, especially when you vibing with like you know with artists and like producers and all this stuff. When you start vibing with them and you like start asking those nerdy questions, you just see people's like eyes light up and be like, "Oh, you're
Yeah,
actually interested in like the shit." Like you're not
yeah.
only want to hear like the finished product, but you actually want to know about like building it up and like getting that sound. Has there been any artist that you could like, off the top of your head that you'd be like has like kind of helped you grow as a producer just by like a simple tip?
Yeah, so there's a kid named his name is Anthony Church.
Yeah.
He has a podcast called Proven Knowledge. And this dude is like, he's been doing this for 10 years. He's out of Ohio. And this kid is very prolific. Like he drops like albums and singles and it's just instrumentals. As I'm transitioning into this, just creating instrumentals, but he drops instrumentals consistently. His consistency and then his proven knowledge podcast is from a production nerd aspect. Like he gets really technical into it. So I see his consistency, and then his instrumentals are like he has one leaves on the ground. They all have a theme, and I'm like, dude, I'm like this kid right here, and he's got to be like 10 years younger than me. But I look at him and be like, okay, that's I see the consistency. I see the podcast where he talks to producers, but he's a little bit more technical. And I'm just like, wow, that kid right there inspires me as I'm transitioning into this. So
Nah, that's dope because as a producer and also an engineer, like yo, I'm gonna be honest, I need all the tips I could get, especially when it
yeah,
comes to like mixing down vocals and all this other stuff. Like
yeah,
all the technical aspects of the stuff, I eat it up, and I'm just like, okay, cool. How
yeah,
can I make my sound as professional as possible, and also give it that? Because have you ever noticed, and maybe this is just me, before you get like a certain level of knowledge, your music sounds great, but it doesn't sound quite professional yet. And
yeah,
then when
yeah,
like some then like you hit like this threshold where like things like flip for you, and then now it sounds super professional, and then you're there like, okay, I finally found like my flow. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. Because there's this dude, man. His name is Harry Hawaii.
Yeah,
He's a German. He makes this dude makes like he makes instrumentals. So he's from Germany,
yeah.
but he calls himself Harry Hawaii because he calls it beach music, but it's like lo-fi hip hop, and it's like his mixes are so clean, bro. Like this dude mixes are like crazy. So I reached out to him. I'm like, hey man, I want to have you on the show, but he's like, my English isn't that good, and he's like he's real low key, but this dude's mixes are like, and like you said, like I'll mix something and I'll put his stuff as a reference, and I'm like, god dang man, the bass and the drums are just they're just cutting through the mix. So he's like my okay, and like you said, man, like, and one of the things I wanted to do, and maybe one day he'll be on, is
Yeah,
like just get him on to pick his brain, because his music is like he's like a piano player. He went from being a rapper to a producer, and the guy's music is just the way the sonic, the mixes are like I liken it to like Dr. Dre. The
yeah.
mixes are like so clean and crisp, and it's just like I'm there, but I'm not. I'm
Bro,
like close.
yo, bro,
Yeah,
I feel you so much on that,
yeah,
bro. Like,
yeah,
especially now that I took a little hiatus from music to like kind of focus in on the
yeah,
pod for a while because
yeah.
one being from NYC and where I'm from, like I'm from Uptown Manhattan, so this
Okay.
is heavily Hispanic, heavily black. So it's like we don't. There's not a lot. There's not room for house artists up here. So I
Yeah,
have to like venture off to like the warehouse district in Brooklyn and
yeah,
downtown Manhattan and whatnot. So up here, it's hard to like find somebody who could kind of like mentor me in the production world. Even though, don't get me wrong, there's a bunch of great producers
yeah,
out here, like my dude Hitman, my dude Calico the Hitman. Shout out to him, he's the man. But yet again, there's very few like producers that up
yeah,
here their sound is like resonates with me. So
yeah,
I would love to like be in the room with somebody who's like sonically sonically strong. You know
yeah.
what I mean?
Like his stuff is, and I'm the same way with you as well. Because I have this beat that I've been working on, but like you, I have the podcast, and right now it's time management is very hard, and like I've been sitting on this thing for like months. Um, and yeah, like you said, and like sometimes I have to go back and like, okay, watch something on TV or listen to like if this dude has a new release or if Anthony Church has a new release, I'll listen
Yeah,
to it. And yeah, because it's for me now, I just don't want to be boxed in. I love what I did for hip hop. I always hip hop will always be the foundation, but I
yeah,
just feel like sonically, we're as creators, we're not boxed in, right? we
yeah,
we hear and see things in a different light, like we talked about with house music, man. There was a time when Timbaland was mixing with Indian music and house music, and now it's just like, all right, what resonates with me and how can I can make this thing sonically. And sometimes, like you said, it's out of the box. I'm gonna pull an element for this and that. I'll get
yeah,
inspired, but then I'll hit a block. And then like you said too with the podcast, these podcasts are blowing up. So
yeah,
it's like
man.
now where do I find time to just sit here and just work on music? Because it's like this is my studio right here. I need time to just, how it is, just to create and bring things together. And
I got you, bro.
I gotta
I
find it. I
got
got I
you,
gotta
my
find
guy.
that time. Like I've been working on this thing. I wanted to release it like 2 or 3 months ago, and it's just like I'll get to it when I get to it.
Really, yo, listen, I get you, bro. My publicist, hey, Ivy, love you. Don't kill me. But
Yeah,
she's been waiting for an album for like 6 months.
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
not even gonna lie. And I got some great ideas. Put I got some great ideas in my DAW, but it's just not hitting the way I wanted to hit. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
it's and maybe you'll connect to this, but you ever been in like that mute? It's not a rut, but it's like anything you make it, they're like, I don't know, and then everybody around you is like, yo, that sounds fire, and then they're like, nah, this isn't exactly what I'm looking for.
yeah. No, and you know what? It's a I've learned to find perfection in imperfections.
Yeah,
Like now my thing is like, did I capture that moment? And okay, if I captured that moment, cool, I'll let out. Because there's actually one instrumental that's doing pretty good, and the mix annoys the shit out of me. Is it's called "Strangest Thing Cinematic," and
Yes.
people gravitate to it. But to me, I can point to imperfections, and now it's like, all right, this is as close to how I envision this, and I'm gonna put it out. There's been like inconsistencies in my releases that I'm like, there'll be blocks where I made an album or made instrumentals, and there'll be blocks where I haven't, and that's when the perfectionism
Yeah.
is killing the progress. So I've learned to like, all right, there's perfections and imperfection, especially now with AI, man, because AI is too, it follows a template, and
Yeah.
now I've been reading and hearing that the thing that's going to separate AI from natural music is we can vary from it. We can shift from it. And also that imperfection may be the difference because AI follows a template. So I'm like you been saying, like, hey, what I say is like perfect being a perfectionist will stifle us. And a great example of that is Dr. Dre. Like we
Yeah.
were supposed to get what was it?
The Chronic too.
Yeah, detox, and
The
we may never
Detox.
see it because
Damn.
yeah.
Bro, we're never gonna see the Detox.
Yeah.
No, but matter of fact, what's your opinion on AI? Like, where do you feel that the line is drawn? You know, when it comes to like AI and music.
I think AI is good as a tool, but I feel like if you don't know the basics, if you don't know the foundations, like I would use AI as a tool. Like, okay,
Yeah.
here's my mix. I've done all the stuff that needs to be done. Can you clean it up a little bit? Or hey, can you help me? Like, there's one called what is it called? It's called the like chord sequencer. So it
Okay.
helps you like find chords, right? Like, okay, I got this mix. What other chords can I transition to? It'll give me advice on it, but I manually insert those chords. So I think it's good as a tool, but when you outright use AI to do everything, nah, bro.
No.
Nah, it's like if you don't know the basics, if you don't know, you basically, and like right now, for example, for my Deeper Than Music podcast, I use like background music. I'll use my music for the intro and outro, but then I reach out to other artists like, hey, do you have sounds or something that you did? I'm transitioning that to video on demand, and I want to say it's Amazon Video Prime. They don't
Yeah.
mess around when it comes to copyrights. Like you have to
Yeah.
prove that you have copyrights. And one of the artists uses AI, and they're like, "Hey," and I'm like, "Dude, it's a slippery slope because if you let AI do all the stuff, you don't own that.
Yeah.
Suno or whatever owns that. I'm not going to step into that." But I feel like if you're not an artist, you're cheating artists out of it. You can use it as a tool, but using it to make full on songs and nah, man. Because actually, what we're finding out now is it's borrowing templates, it's learning from other artists,
Yeah.
and some of them don't even know that it's learning from them.
Yeah.
So yeah,
And the craziest thing about it is like, and I had somebody on the pod yesterday. Shout out to my dude Peter. He's a lawyer and he's talking about like creatives with AI, and he was basically stating that anything that we create with AI is you can't copyright it
there you
because
go.
of the issues that the fact that those models are trained with other artists' styles and flows.
Yep, yep, and
Yeah,
that's where you
so you can't even copyright none of that. Like you could
and,
copyright whatever came before. Like let's say that you produced a beat, wrote the lyrics, whatever, and then you just pop the lyrics into Suno to produce that vocal for you.
yep.
You could copyright the lyrics, you could copyright the beat. You can't copyright them vocals though.
Yep, and that's the thing, because like a lot of people never looked at the contract, and that's what I told people. I was like,
Yeah,
the gray area is going to be in the ownership, because right
true.
now they don't have the ownership, and I'm like, I'm pretty damn sure that whatever AI did, Suno's going to get paid. Like Suno's going to get it, and that's
He's
what you
gonna
got to
cut.
watch
Yeah,
out for. And it's only fair. If you
yeah.
didn't do it and AI did it,
But here's a plus part though. Let's say that you do create like a beat and you do create a song, right? And you just need a vocalist. You can
yeah,
use that as your demo to like get the vocalist in the studio. Like,
yeah,
hey, I got this track. listen to this. This is the reference track. I just need you to, just do the vocal.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that will give the vocalist a better idea of how you want that song to be done. Of course, you want them to add their flavor and
Yeah.
their sauce on it, but you could give them a pretty near perfect rendition of what you're really looking for.
Yep. Yep. So I say, like, as a tool, it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah,
Like, it optimizes things. Um, but I would venture to say, like, just make sure that you know the foundations. You make sure that a
yeah,
lot of the stuff is yours, and just use it as a tool. Because we have those producers that we know that pre AI it sounded like this. After AI, it's like night and day, and it's like,
yeah,
come
yeah,
on,
yeah. They're
man.
like,
There is
they're
no
like,
in between, and it's like,
yeah,
come
yeah.
on, bro. Don't
Nah,
play with me like that. But
nah,
I would
but
say to them, oh, go ahead.
no. But what I would say that one good thing that AI is good for when it comes to music is like if you're not a strong mixing engineer or a strong mastering engineer, you got things like Ozone that will use AI to master your track, which is a godsend for someone like me
Oh yeah,
who
no,
doesn't
no,
have
no,
like the proper setup for like mastering.
no, and you're exactly right because now, oh man, I use I'm about to give away a secret. I use T-Rex, and T-Rex
Yeah,
now
I
has
like
this thing where it compares. So I'm not gonna lie to
oh
you. I said Harry Hawaii is the blueprint. Yeah, the latest T-Rex.
yeah, okay,
If you use a reference track, it'll get that mix to that. So that's as a tool because, like I said, Harry Hawaii, his shit is on point, and you best believe T-Rex. Hey, this is my clean mix. What else do I need to do to get to that point? So yeah, because I'm not I'm good at mixing, but yeah, sometimes you need that extra help because it's like,
yeah,
okay, there's something that's just this little small thing is annoying the hell out of me, but it can help you get so you can use it as a reference and boom, okay, this is where we clean it up. So
yep. Or especially where you kind of like find where the mud is at in your track. You're there
yeah,
like, yo, but I hear the frequency that's fucking with me, but I
yeah,
just can't find it. Yo, that happens to me lots of.
yeah,
I'm like, yo, but
yeah.
where's the shit coming from?
So yeah, that's
No,
that's a,
yeah,
a good way to make it a tool. But it's like when you have no production, nothing in you, and it's only fair. Like if AI did 100%, AI should get. And I
yeah,
think what people don't realize when Suno was rolled out, they didn't talk about the small print, and now they got all this information and like, hey, oh by the way, we own all of this.
yeah, yep. And whatever you put into Suno, they could legally own.
Yep. Yeah.
So guys, don't be putting your originals in there because it will take it,
Yep.
and you will have copyright infringement later on, or troubles later on, and that's something that is being addressed right now by the Supreme Court, but I don't think it's going to be fully addressed because of the fact that one, we know that AI right now isn't at a point where it's creating original stuff, right?
Yeah.
It's being scraped, is being trained by different model by the internet basically and all these different artists. So it's emulating a lot.
Yeah.
But yet again, when it comes to technical stuff like mixing, you know figuring out like where your sonic frequencies are and how everything is laid out, that's an amazing thing.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah,
And then with my strangest thing cinematic beat. I like made put like some weird ass transitions, make it
yeah,
unpredictable. And even somebody I forget who like reviewed it. They were like, "Yo, this dude went from this cinematic choir to some wacky shit." And it's like, hey, if that's what we got to do with AI is like put in transitions. And I think from our perspective, it just challenges us. Like, here's another challenge.
yeah,
Okay, let's beat AI a little bit. Let's This is original, and I'm a switch something up that is something totally left the field.
yeah. And it also pushes the boundaries of music too.
Yep.
Like now you're not only thinking about, and this is I'm taking myself as an example. I'm not only making an Afro house track, right? I'm trying to figure out how I can make this unpredictable, how I can
Yeah.
make the emotion connect with the person and give them this unpredictability that they're like, oh shit, that drop was fire. Or did you hear that bridge? Or I never expected him to throw in I don't know. Give me a random instrument. I don't know,
Uh,
accordion.
yeah, accordion. That's what I was thinking. Yeah, 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 yeah,
Accordion. I never thought he was gonna throw accordion in there. You know what I mean? So it's
yeah,
like you have to kind of like push the boundaries because when you take like with AI, they're gonna take templates and stuff that's already been done and kind
yeah,
of lay it out that same way. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, man. So like, and with that, it's just like I feel that it's gonna come to a point where people are gonna like stop using AI to like actually create the music, but it's gonna use them to like
yeah,
make their music sound better.
yeah, yeah. And this is like I said, it's a tool, man.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it's a tool.
Oh, yo, but talk to me about for 40 something gamers, bro.
Yeah, 40 something gamers. So that one, to me, that was a surprise, man. My best friend Sharon, we've been best friends since '94, and what we connected on was music and video games, and we still talk video games to this day.
Yeah,
Um, so I was like, you know what? After interviewing celebrities, and I was like, I want something that's low stress, and me and my boy can just talk video games.
yeah,
And I'm like, we're 40 something gamers. Let's just talk about video games. And one thing that I didn't realize is I underestimated like the gaming world, grossly
the gaming world
underestimated
is
it.
vast, bro.
Yeah. So at first the audio podcast, like of course the deeper the music was doing a lot better. 40 something gamers was kind of struggling a little bit, but then once I underestimated YouTube as well. Once I started putting the YouTube videos up, yeah, stuff started blowing up, and I was like, "Whoa, man, this is crazy!" But the genesis was like, "Hey, me and my best friend, we get to connect. He's an artist. He can draw, and we can just talk about growing up in the 1990s, and then just talk about retro video games." And now it took off like, man, this this still blows my mind. Um, like we were number one in Belgium from I think it's like Leisure. We charted a few times in Singapore, Malaysia,
That's dope,
crazy
bro.
stuff. And then like the whole YouTube thing, man, because then I'm like, all right, I could put in video game footage. I even do now what it's called, I call it the retro rewind. Like I'll have like video game footage and I'll just narrate. And it's like 3 minute clips about just the video games and the history. And that's even blown up. And yeah, it's been something that I really wasn't expecting. But me and my best friend to connect, and then not as stressful as interviewing celebrities and artists.
Yeah,
Because sometimes I love PR firms, but sometimes it could be a headache. And then
yeah.
sometimes you get artists that are kind of on that Hollywood stuff. It gets annoying sometimes.
Nah, I
So
feel you, bro. I feel you on that. And that's kind of like the same kind of like story I have with one of my best friends, Mike. And
yeah,
he's the co-host of my second channel, which is Second Floor Basement, where it's
yeah,
an anime gaming channel. So it's just us really like talking about gaming and then like watching anime and reviewing anime and like
yeah,
movies and shit. So it's like it's very like it's low stress. It's just me and him bullshitting and
yeah,
shit.
yeah, yeah,
Not saying that the content's bullshit, but it's just me and him relaxing, chilling out, and just vibing on what's happening.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And that's the thing. Like, video games is like, man, it's been around for so long, and like you said, it's like a casual conversation talking about, oh yeah, do you remember this? Do you remember that? And, yeah,
Yeah. Nah, but that's how it is though, and like, and that's like one of the connections that most people thought that it wasn't gonna blow up as big as it was. You know what I mean? With
yeah,
gaming and especially now with like streaming, Twitch, Kick, all these platforms, everybody's watching somebody else play, and that's the
yeah,
one thing. And that's the one thing as a kid. If well, for me, right? I grew up with my older cousins and whatnot, and they wouldn't let me touch their PlayStations. They wouldn't let me touch their N64s. They'll be
yeah,
like, "You can
yeah,
sit and watch, but you can't. You ain't playing." I'm
yeah,
like, "All
yeah.
right, cool," but I was watching though, so I get why it's so big because that's like childhood memories right there, man.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. And then now the whole thing with Sony not doing physical,
Mm.
they catching heat right now. And they're just
Well,
like,
we knew that was coming.
Yeah. Oh yeah. 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 Yeah.
Yeah, so
So
it's not like it. My only thing is with that is like if you're gonna make it a permanent non-physical, you just gotta make sure that PlayStation Store is 100%. You know what I mean?
yeah. Yeah. And that's
And
the that.
you gotta make sure that you're not deleting shit, and that people whatever game that I purchase or I purchase through like PS Plus, that I always have access to it.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the
Yeah,
challenge, right?
yeah,
Like,
that's
what
the
if they
challenge.
what if they go out of business? Because we have a store here called the Limited Run,
Yeah.
and they have a lot of retro games. And I bought the Crew, this racing game. Like one of my friends put me on. I still got my Xbox 360, and I didn't realize they shut the server down. So I got the disc in a pretty box, but they shut the server down. And I was like, man, this is for real. This is the thing.
No, but if you think about it, what it was after, I would say, after the original Xbox and the PS2, every other game you needed to have internet access to actually get into it.
Yeah, that's true.
It didn't even matter if it was like GTA or like a simple, racer like Need for Speed or the Crew.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, man. So it's kind of whack that you need to be online in order to play. But
Yeah, and I'm not a fan of that, man. Yeah, I like I'll turn it off. But then again,
Mhm.
like you said, that's the generational thing. Like we come from, well, I come from where you had cartridges, and then we were even talking
Mhm.
about this now. The convenience of digital, that you don't have no real estate that you have to have your cartridges at. But back in the day, it was like with CDs.
Yeah,
You like these are bragging rights. These are all my games right here. And even now, say if the internet goes out, oh okay, I'll just play my old PlayStation or Sega Genesis or Dreamcast, just pop in the disc and play. But now with certain games, like you said, you need internet access. Your internet goes out or something. What are you gonna
you
do?
not you ain't doing nothing.
Yeah,
And that's the wacky shit about it is like, you feel me? Like, how about if I just want to get on, like, for instance, like a game that really doesn't need too much internet play, except if you're playing online, would be like racers, right? Like the Crew, Need for
yep,
Speed. One of my favorite racers, which the sequels sucked, but the original was fire. The Grid. Have you ever played Grid?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Those are good.
Grid,
Yeah,
Grid. I felt like that racer was the most on point with the controls.
yep,
After that, it was the series got trashed, but the original fire.
yeah. And then even now we're talking about because also, and I'll add you to it, man. We have we just started a 40 something gamers Discord,
Hey,
uh, talking about like some of these games now, like a money grab. Hey, if you want this uniform, or if you want to unlock this, it's like I just want to play the game. Like I got
yeah,
to do. It's more of a money grab sometimes. It's just like I don't need this skin or I don't need this. Something I got to pay extra for. I just want to play the game.
yeah, true. But I could see the convenience in that, especially after like the whole Fortnite revolution when they started introducing
Yeah,
like the battle pass. Other companies saw the model and they were like, "Bro, you gave this game out for free." Which technically, if Fortnite would have dropped, let's say back in like PS2, PS3 era,
yeah,
that would have been a AAA game. Let's
yep,
let's not front about it. You feel me? Especially if you could get like three of your peoples in together to play a match on like PS2, fire, right? But you seen how good of a game that was. They gave it for free, quote unquote free, right? But then they introduced a $20 battle pass, right? Or whatever how much it is.
yeah,
And then like the battle pass didn't include all the skins that were released that season. So now you got like, buy some V-Bucks to get these skins. And then by the time the season is done, you don't spend like $150 on the game that's
yeah.
supposedly free.
And that's how they make their money back. Like, oh yeah, it's free, but
Yeah. And they market it to kids, and kids are gonna ask parents.
yep.
Yeah, man. So like, what do you think about GTA 6 though?
Man, I we've been waiting for a while. From what I've seen it looks good. I'm just worried, first of all, how much memory it's gonna take up. If I gonna have enough memory for the game, and then it's like I'm just keeping my expectations because I mean five. I mean we've been playing that game for years. Just kind of keeping my expectations like this because I mean we've been waiting for so it's like the Detox album. But
Yeah,
from
yeah,
what I've seen from the previews, it looks nice. But my main concern is like how much memory is it gonna take? And then they already named like the prices for the basic and then the
yeah.
different tiers.
Yeah, they did. It's not gonna be like outrageous. Like everybody was predicting, like the standard was gonna be like 120 bucks. It's gonna be regular price. I think what 69.99 for for the standard edition. The
Yeah,
ultimate edition is gonna be like 100 bucks. And if you want like the collector's edition, which comes with like I think a map of the, oh yeah, like a physical map of the map, a physical map, and like I think a couple of other like collector's items is like 140 bucks. So
yeah.
it's not really outrageous, but the one caveat that I did notice and what a lot of people aren't talking about is that you're gonna need a subscription to GTA Plus.
There you go.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So
and
you're paying like $8 a month for it,
yeah,
plus
and
on
then
top of whatever you paid. Yeah,
that's another thing that I kind of have an issue with. And it's only for like identity safety. Like
yeah,
I've unfortunately had my identity stolen. I don't want to have to sign into accounts to play a game. Like I
true,
got all these accounts, EA account, this account, and it's like, come on, man. I just want to play. I just want to play the game.
true. I feel you 110 on that, man. Like especially with like as vast as everything is happening, bro. I don't want to have to be like, well, PlayStation kind of streamlines it where you just have to sign into your PSN.
Yeah,
But if you're like anywhere else, you gotta like sign into that one individual account. Like, and then every company has their own accounts. Like Rockstar has one,
yeah,
EA has one, and I forgot who else, but there's a couple of other companies that have them too.
yeah,
Yeah. But what I'm thinking about GTA 6 though is like I feel like have you seen Ready Player One?
yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, that's a good movie, man.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like GTA 6 is gonna be like the beta version of like the Oasis.
I can see
Cause,
that. I can see
cause,
that. Yeah, that's a
cause,
good point.
because Rockstar was saying that they're not gonna really develop GTA 7 for like another couple of generations of consoles, and they're
Oh
just gonna
wow.
keep developing GTA 6 like they did with GTA 5.
Yeah, and that I mean
Mhm.
that's a good plan, man. Because GTA 5, like we're still, how long has that game been out? And it's still like
What?
it's that level, man.
What it
It's
came
that
out what at the almost at the end of the PS3 era, so I want to say
yeah,
2012
yeah,
around there, and we're still playing, and they still got us hooked to that shit. I was playing
yep,
that shit earlier. No, no, because yo, listen, GTA, yo, listen. The one thing about it, GTA, I'll stop playing for a while and then I'll come back to it. But GTA announced that they're gonna have this last. Well, data miners and all this other leakers and all that shit said that GTA is gonna have this one mission later on called the Last Run, where it kind of like guides you into GTA 6, and
yeah,
everybody's theorizing that you could like port over your character from 5 to 6 with your assets. So like
yeah.
it's like, oh shit, like I don't have to start from the ground up anymore.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. No, and that'll be cool, man.
And that'll be super dope, man. Super dope, bro. But are there any like gaming franchises you wish that would come back?
Damn, that's a good question. Dang, that is a good question. Um, man, I always feel like, and we always talk about this in they tease, not necessarily franchise, but maybe like another Sega console.
Yeah.
Um, damn, God, I'm trying to think like a franchise. That is a damn good question. Um, Not really, man. Maybe third party companies, developers back in the day. You know, we had like Data East,
Yeah.
and things like that. But no, I can't really think of maybe remakes, possibly.
What
Um,
game would you remake?
there's one game, man, that it's expensive as hell. It's called Skies of Arcadia. And
I've
that's
heard of
only
that shit.
after like, yeah, the RPGs, man. They did that Final Fantasy the 7 remake, and I'm like, holy crap. Um, Maybe like you said, man, we talked about dang. I don't even think they no, they still do make the crew. But no, that's a good question. That's something that I really gotta sit on, man. Dang, now I'm thinking about it because now I'm like, yeah, because they've done so many remakes. Like the what was the last the Resident Evil one? That
Yeah,
one was
yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think what they just redid Nemesis, right?
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yep. And
And
then
that shit was beautiful too.
Yeah, yeah. So maybe just upgrading and modernizing now some like because I'm a fan of like you said racers. I love shooters. Like
Yeah,
they had an old game back in the day called UN Squadron. Like I'm a Navy vet and I'm into aviation. If they
yeah,
remade that, that'll be cool.
that'd be dope.
Um, yeah. And then oh, you know what? Like maybe like Outrun, man. Maybe like an Outrun, something.
Word, Outrun would be dope.
Yeah.
What's that other joint? Paradise something, Paradise Run, Paradise Island.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know which one I'm talking about, Rolo, right?
Yeah.
I forgot the name of it, but that would be dope. And talking about Sega, you know what they really should drop, or at least Sega needs to like develop a part 3 or 4 for, and I hope
Yeah.
they do. Power Stone.
I was just thinking that because I just finally got into Smash Brothers, and I didn't realize. So I'm like, Smash Brothers have a lot of elements of Power Stone. This is what I
Yeah,
didn't realize. So I made a episode saying that Power Stone was like the grandfather of Smash Brothers, but somebody corrected me. Power Stone came out a month after the original Smash Brothers, but Power Stone was more popular. And then
really.
because yep, they came out a month apart. So somebody corrected me on that. However, Power Stone got caught up in just the Dreamcast demise. And yeah, they should have. That's the one I was thinking of. Yeah, Power Stone. Hell yeah.
Nah, but the Dreamcast was ahead of its time, bro. The
Yeah.
Dreamcast was way ahead of its time. Like graphic wise, the hardware on there, and just the little, just even the little like Tamagotchi that you could like put into your controller.
Oh
That
yeah, yeah.
like
The VMU thing. Yeah,
the
yeah.
VMU joint, like that was like so ahead of its own time, man.
And you know what's crazy? The thing I didn't realize is now. I mean, we think about it. It's a small thing now, but Sega did DVDs, bro. DVDs on the PlayStation 2. That's what.
Word.
That's what it was, man. Because remember, uh, the Sega, the Dreamcast. It wasn't a DVD. It was like a disc. It was a disc, and it also was a disc that you can replicate it. Like you could,
It was a CDR, yeah.
yeah, CDR, and people you could make other games. It wasn't really protected, but PlayStation Two was also a DVD, and that's what back then we didn't have like the portable DVD players were
Mm.
they were a little bit more expensive and they weren't like integrated with video games and they were the ones that did that and that's what pushed them over like hey this is a game system and we can play DVDs on it so
That's why the PS2 I think is the yeah, I think the PS2 is the most selling console of all time. Yeah.
yep yep.
Good times. These kids will never know about that.
Yeah, and then also with the the Sega Dreamcast, it was one of the first that you could be online. Like it had the
Yeah,
the internet connection, and it had Microsoft on there. I forget
yeah.
what version it was, like some version, and then it came with a keyboard. So it was the first one of its kind with that. And matter of fact, one of the games I'm looking for is probably crazy amounts of money is Fantasy Star Online that they had on the Dreamcast. There we go, another one, Fantasy Star. If they brought that back, that would
Damn,
be dope.
I haven't heard about Fantasy Star in a ill many. You
Yeah.
know what game I would love for them to fucking to remake though, or at least remaster? Xenoblade.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And that's a Square Enix original, so they should really look into that. Because
Oh yeah.
I never understood why they just didn't give us a part two or anything like that on that one.
Yeah.
Xenoblade was really good. Yeah. But other than that, you already know, man. But yo, Marcus, before I mean, think of Marcus, Mark, before I let you go, right?
Yeah.
Is there any final thoughts, words of advice, words of wisdom or advice you want to give to the roomies?
Yeah. So you the technology's there, man. I tell people like back in the day, we didn't have all this technology. Like you said, man, we just had to figure it out.
Yeah,
There's no excuse, man. If you want to do something, the information's there, the technology's there. Um, yeah, it's crazy. Like I said, like with YouTube, I just never it was something that okay, yeah, I could possibly do, but the video editing part was a headache to me, but now the technology's there where you can do it. And it's like if there's anything you want to do, All you have to do is just research it. And there's the technology's there. Just do it, man. Just have a thought, do it. Like there's really no excuses, man. I tell people, I'm like, man, your phone is a beautiful thing. Like,
Yeah.
look at the phone. I'm sorry if you hear my dogs
You
shouting
good.
and stuff.
You good, my guy.
But yeah, it's just like do it, man. And I want to say, especially for us, people of color,
Yeah.
man, we have to like the one thing I didn't realize, man, when I started doing the podcast and started doing 40 something gamers, there's not too many of us in that realm.
Yeah.
Um, hey, if there's more than one thing that you're passionate about, do it, man. Just do
Yeah.
it, and the information is there. And we need to. It's imperative that we need to be involved in the technology spaces. Like you already hear about bias and AI and all this stuff. Do it, research it, learn it. There's no excuse. Yeah, that's my words of wisdom.
I got you. And roomies, with that being said, just remember, and this is me piggybacking off of him, is in 2026, you have the ability now to be proficient in multiple lanes because of technology. So you might love music and you love doing music, but you also may like doing something else. So go for both. And with that, peace out.